Hi, I'm Mclinn, and I'm welcoming you to the first edition of the Brooklyn Report. And I'm here with a very, very dear friend of mine. Her name is Tina Lifford. She's an awesome actress. She plays my mom on a TV show, Parenthood. And she is an author. She's a life coach. She wrote a book recently called The Little Book of Big Lies that I read and I found right on point. So I asked her if she would take a few minutes to talk to me and share some of her experience and her expertise, and hopefully we can get it out there and it can help somebody else that could be watching. So Tina Lifford, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
She always makes me smile.
This is Snoop. He just decided he wanted to come and be part of the interview.
You said Snoop?
Snoop.
Snoop Doggy Dogg.
He actually looks like Snoop Doggy Dogg when he turns around and puts his ears out.
Snoop Dogg. So, well, tell me what's going on with you. Tell me a little bit about yourself, and we'll start there, and then we'll move on.
I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Well, I don't know. Before we started rolling, you and I were talking about passions.
Absolutely.
And I have had two passions my whole life.
Okay.
Acting and personal development. Or I now have coined personal development inner fitness.
Okay.
Because I have realized that in our, and now he's going to be distracting. Snoop, I want you to go away. Snoop, go.
So I just want some attention.
You don't want him.
It's okay.
Okay, cool. So I have started using the term inner fitness as opposed to personal development. And this is the reason why. Because so often the information that we most need for our lives, we don't get taught that information in school. In fact, when I go out across the country speaking, one of my signature questions is this. So I'm going to ask everybody this question. Okay. In all your years of schooling, from kindergarten to whatever grade you completed, did you ever take one class that taught you how to navigate the dramas, traumas, upsets, and disappointments that come with life?
No.
98% of the people that I ask that question answer no.
Right.
Which is absolutely insane.
Right.
Because we all have unresolved drama, traumas, upset, disappointments, fears that are a part of the fabric of who we are at this point.
Right.
And we need tools for navigating that stuff. The inner fitness is as important and foundational to our experience of life as is physical fitness. Now, if you ask someone about physical fitness, you know, like, okay, so like what are the components of physical fitness?
Right, going to the gym, eating right, routine exercise and getting good sleep.
That's right. Yeah. You immediately know that.
Right.
Right? Okay, I'm going to put him outside because, Snoop, you got to stop that. No. Go lay down.
He came around the corner too. Like what? What you want?
Lay down. Go.
It's like, why are you coming down on me?
So let me just
inner fitness.
Pick it up. Yeah. So everyone knows what you mean, what the basic components are of physical fitness.
Right.
Diet, exercise, and there's all kinds of things under that umbrella. We need to codify and give basic principles to inner fitness and let that be a part of our global and national lexicon so that people can at least have as much information about how to create a healthy, strong, flexible inner life as they have information about the outer life. Because that physical life, is not going to make you sleep better at night.
Right.
If you haven't addressed the unresolved stuff that's going on inside.
So let me ask, so why don't you think it is taught in school?
I think that there are a lot of reasons that it's not taught in school. I think that I can tell you my truth, and that is that our development as a species, it's been so focused on survival.
Okay.
That the inner part of us has been completely and utterly overlooked. In fact, I'll go so far as to say that we live in a culture that rejects itself. And that rejection is so common, it's so accepted, that nobody even notices that we're constantly rejecting ourselves. We're constantly judging ourselves, putting ourselves down, finding ourselves not good enough, less than. All of that lives in people's daily conversations. Every single time you overlook yourself for the good of the peace. You don't follow your dream because someone over here thinks that you should do that over there.
Right.
You have an experience when you're coming up that in some way sort of leaves you feeling like you're not good enough or not smart enough or whatever, and so you now have this limitation, this stopping point.
Yeah.
And every time we buy into that, that is a form of self-rejection.
Yeah. It's amazing how that can happen. It doesn't even have to be a direct statement to you that you are not worthy. It could be indirect. It could be, and I picked it up in your book. A parent not being there for you when you're a child will tell a kid that something is wrong with the child, as opposed to, and the child is not equipped enough to know that it has nothing really to do with him or her, that it's really the parent's issue. And we'll go through many, many years of life feeling like something is wrong with me because of those things. It could be getting, cut from a sports team, or it's so many, a girl or a guy that you go after that you don't like and they choose not to be with you. It's like, it's all layer upon layer upon layer of just that invalidation. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and I believe that we do get snagged in these smaller ideas of ourselves because we are not taught or given a bigger idea of ourselves.
Right.
So, and what I'm talking about is bigger than self-image.
Right.
I'm talking about a way of defining ourselves that really allows us to realize our self-realization, realize the divine makeup of us, if you want to go that far. I actually have a definition that I use in my work in Waking Up Fabulous. So would you like to hear it?
Absolutely. I think I know what it is, but go for it.
No, you tell me.
I'm going to guess
Yes.
that it's the big self and the little self. Are those the foundations of it? No?
That's very good.
I'm close.
That's very
I'm close.
Very good.
Okay.
That what you actually have identified is the true essence of who we are. There is in the book we talk about the dream of self, and the small self, the small s self, is the one that looks in the mirror and thinks that that's all we are, and the one who is constantly warring and constantly in competition, or not feeling good enough, or feeling like there's something wrong. That's the small s. That's the self that most people live through. And then there is what I call the capital S self.
Right.
And the capital S self is that part of us that knows that we are more than these bodies. That part of us that is part of the cosmic intelligence, and therefore, in that we are part of the cosmic intelligence, we actually wind up being a conduit for that intelligence. And when we know that there is more to us than just that small s self, we actually begin to live our lives with an expectation of us not having just greater things or more things, but us being more than the things or the circumstances or the conditions of our lives. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're back with the Brooklyn Report. And once again, we have Tina Lifford, author of The Little Book of Big Lies and Truths That Set You Free. You have a movement that you're building based on a lot of the principles that you have in the book. Please share what those things are.
The name of the movement is Waking Up Fabulous, and like I said before, the Inner Fitness Project is it's all about modeling practices for greater inner health and developing skills for navigating the choppy waters of life. In fact, one of the, I guess you'll call it, products that we have in the movement is a play I wrote called The Circle.
Okay.
And The Circle is, it's the journey that 7 women take together, navigate, 7 diverse women navigating the choppy waters of life together. And they come together once a month and support one another as they deal with life. And I wrote this play, we put it up maybe 16 times now. We're about to do 3 dates in Chicago, February the 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Okay.
At the Music Institute of Chicago. And every time that I've put it up, it's been sold out. And it's a little unique in that it has an interactive quality to it. So everyone who sits in the audience has a sense and a feeling that they are in the circle, having the experience of being in the circle. And there are places within the experience where people really do get to have their own experience, and some people even share. So it's really interesting.
Good stuff. I want to talk about, you have a chapter in the book about I can't. Could you elaborate a little bit about that? Because I'm really big. I want to start a petition against that word.
Okay.
I want everybody to know that word, like, we really need to put it in its proper context. Yes. So could you have a great chapter in your book about it.
Okay, fantastic. Well, the chapter, well, first off, I should say that the Little Book of Big Lies is a compilation of stories, and each story addresses one of what I have identified, one of the lies, the unconscious ways in which we go through life and accept the unconscious way that we become small, that we play small, that we place limitations on ourselves. And the I can't story, in the beginning, it seems like we're talking about a childhood or a teenage first love kind of thing. And 2 people, actually it's my story, me and this young man, we were crazy about one another, and we knew that at some point we were going to do the do, you know what I mean? And it was no surprise that we would be in his car, getting as close to doing the do as you could get. And then something happened. And I'm not going to tell you everything so that you can
doing the do.
Actually read the book. But I realized that that's not what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And the only words that would come out in that moment were, I can't. But as I sat with myself and got more and more clear and accepted my choice, I realized that I can't is rarely the truth. I can't, it usually is a physical reality.
Absolutely.
I can't means that you were physically unable to perform whatever the task is.
Right.
Everything else is not I can't.
Right.
Now it might be I don't want to, and that means that we have to learn to be able to speak up and tell that truth.
Right.
It may be that I don't think I can. It may be I don't feel like it. I don't want to.
I don't want to.
It may be that I am choosing not to. It may be a number of things.
Right.
But I can't is rarely the truth.
Right.
And for us to move towards inner fitness, we must become more aware of what our inner truth is, and then learn, because it takes practice to be able to stand inside of ourselves and choose what works for us. Acknowledge what we want and then choose it for ourselves. That takes spiritual or maturity. I say that takes inner fitness. And our society is constantly sort of trying to get you to do what it wants. And so your muscle of being able to choose what is right for you, and that phone never rings.
We're getting a lot of firsts this evening.
But and then that's a new system. That's a brand new system. So it's going to do that 2 or 3 times.
What is it saying?
Call from my sister Pam.
Oh. Oh, Pam.
Yes, exactly.
Pam, you're going to see this and you're going to know you're disrupting this interview. Pam.
Yes. But yeah, so, I can't says that we don't have a choice.
Right.
And the truth is, we are always choosing.
Yes.
And when we use I can't, we are sidestepping our voice.
Absolutely.
We are, for whatever the reason, defaulting to some sense of incapability that is easier to own than to own our truth and our voice.
Yeah, I found when I was using I can't a lot, it would take the responsibility off of me because of the physical capacity behind it. So if you asking me to do something and I say I can't, then one, it makes it seem like it's out of my hands. I have no control over it. And two, for the other person, it makes them feel the same way. Like, oh, well, there's nothing that he can do about it. So it's not on him. When the truth is what you're saying is, I don't want to, or I'm choosing to do something else, or, the whole gamut of other explanations. But I was like, I got to stop using that word and only use it in its proper capacity. If I'm physically unable, which can happen, You know, so you were, you know, for example, this evening, our start, like you were physically unable to get, you know, we had to, you know what I mean? So that's the truth. But then it's like how we have to learn in those communication skills how to communicate that to the other person without making the other person feel less than or unvaluable, or because, and that's hard to do because people are going to take it however they're going to take it. But that's kind of been my struggle, is saying it in a context that somebody can receive it, and then I'm still allowed to do what I want to do.
Well, you know, there's a couple of things in there, and that is that our responsibility is to communicate our truth as lovingly and authentically and respectfully as we can.
Right.
The person who is receiving our truth, they have a responsibility to receive it the way that they receive it. I can't, you can't have any control over how someone receives your truth.
Right.
You don't have any control over that. Your responsibility is kindness, the truth, and authenticity. If someone needs something else from you, then that becomes a discussion to see whether or not what they need and where you are can actually find some sort of common ground.
Right.
But I really hesitate when I hear, you know, people talk about make people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Because one's discomfort is one's own work.
Right.
And when one is uncomfortable, it is an indicator that there is work to be done. It doesn't have to be a bad thing.
Right.
You know, if in fact every time you get some criticism, it feels really uncomfortable, so uncomfortable that you get mad at the person who has given you their truth and you've taken it as a criticism, whose work is that?
Well, the person that's receiving it.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is my work to go in and find out, why is it that anytime someone says X, Y, or Z, or uses a particular tone, or tells me anything, why do I go to this place of upset? And do I want to do that for the rest of my life?
Right.
And can I hand that burden to all the people that I love in my life? What am I supposed to do? Are we supposed to write some sort of code of how you have to handle all of my insecurities in order for us to be in a relationship?
Right.
No.
Right.
I have a saying, and it goes, what goes on inside of me is my business. What goes on inside of you is your business. And for us to have a healthy relationship, we must each enter it being willing to handle our business. What belongs to me, I must address.
Right.
What belongs to you, you must address. And if we care about one another, then we're going to be able to sit in this space together and be in dialogue, be in conversation, and help one another desensitize
Right.
those problematic areas and move forward.
Right. I like that. I also wanted to talk to you about, so it's been 20 years since my father passed away. And I just, at that time, I just started thinking about the idea of fatherhood and how important fathers are to the development of children and, you know, daughters and sons, and you know, in a lot of cases, this the daughter's first love, and the son learns how to treat women from his father. How did your father affect your development as a young woman?
You know, that's the fact that you added that last tag. How did your father affect your development? sort of blows out of the water what I was going to say.
Yes.
So I'm going to answer your question,
Okay.
and then I'm going to share with you what I was going to say, because there's still validity
Okay.
to it.
All right. Go for it.
I had a fantastic daddy.
Okay.
And, you know, in the book of Little Lies, the Little Book of Big Lies, I talk about my father, and the story that belongs to him, which is the I'm upset because story, that story opens by saying my father was a great daddy and a terrible husband.
Okay.
And he was a father that let us kids know that we mattered, and that's important. He was a father that let us kids know that we could do whatever we set our minds to. He was a father that did not coddle us, but some of my best memories are those moments when he protected us. So my father was he was a wise man, and he gave us girls a lot of leeway, and his leeway showed us that he respected us, and he expected us to respect ourselves, and he taught us that we are our own people. Now, on the flip side, he didn't give my mother that same sort of leeway.
Okay.
But that was because of a whole other set of issues that I so love and honor and understand at this point.
Right.
The stuff that he was carrying in his bag that made the way he loved my mother, because he absolutely loved her. And I say in the past tense because he died about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. But daddy and mommy made all the difference in my world. Now, with that said, I will also say that, you know, it is so easy to think that, well, because I didn't have a good mother or I didn't have a good father, that's why I have these challenges. And there's no question that our past and the environment that we grow up in and the hurts that we sustain make a difference. But if we go back to that small self, that capital S self, and that all capital self, right? It helps us to put the things that we think we didn't get in a better context. So in this case, using the idea that, you know, you didn't have a great parent. It's the small self. It's the self that sees itself, you know, only in this body and at risk, that needs that kind of nurturing. And it does. You know, the human species needs a level of nurturing. But even in that small self is that capital S self. And that is a ancient self that is connected to, through, you know, past time and space, and connected to all the wisdom in the world, and is beyond the smallness. And I don't mean to diminish it.
Right.
But the being in the body dictates, right? When we know that capital S self lives in us, we can begin to heal our own wounds about what we didn't get or what happened to us. Because we can say, that happened, but now I can turn to that capital S self that lives inside of me, begin to give it more attention time and attention. Those are the two most valuable things that we have that we can give to ourselves.
Right.
And in doing so, we can become that great parent or that best friend that we need, that can nurture us forward from this point forward. So if you didn't get something, give it to yourself now.
Right.
If you felt like you were deprived, you were left out, you were unimportant, then you need to practice number, which one is it? Practice number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Number 10. I become a great friend and parent to myself. And when we move forward in our lives, in that way, we begin to nurture that capital S self. And then the struggles and the disappointments and the dramas, traumas, and upsets of the small self, we get untied from them.
Mm-hmm.
We tease ourselves apart. We discover that they are not who we are. They are an experience that we went through.
And we're back once again with the Brooklyn Report and my lovely, she's my mom, Tina Lifford. Tina Lifford's been acting for over 20 years. I'm an actor, you're an actor, that's how we met on the set of Parenthood. So what I want to ask you is, to all the aspiring actors that are out there that would love to be in your position or accomplish half of the things that you've accomplished, what's some wisdom, some experience that you can share to maybe inspire somebody to keep going that's maybe thinking about quitting?
Well, there's a couple of things that come to mind.
Okay.
Number one, if you're thinking about quitting, I would ask myself, what's up with that? Because if in fact it isn't your passion, and then maybe you should quit.
Mm-hmm.
Because if in fact you've come to this to make money, it's way too hard to find your niche and let me start again. So you'll cut all of that.
Okay.
You're gonna cut that out. What would I say? Okay. All right. There's I'll share 3 things.
Okay.
First off, if you want to do this or anything else, really, really vision it. Really know why you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Have a reason for doing it that is beyond ego. My reason was that I can't think of anything more important or honorable than to have the opportunity to share how another person feels.
Mm-hmm.
A person who probably doesn't even know how they feel. My character, Renee, she's got a lot of constraints.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know how she feels. I know what's bottled up inside of her. And I can't think of anything more honorable than to share with the world what her feelings are, what her challenges are. So know why you're doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
The second is you gotta create a better relationship with the idea of rejection.
Mm.
I don't believe in rejection. May I share with you
Absolutely.
how I look at it?
Absolutely.
So, this is my analogy. If you got an invitation to a really, really fabulous party,
Mm-hmm.
what's one of the first things that you would do when you got that invitation in preparation for that party?
Wow. I guess me, I mean, I would want to have some nice clothes and.
That's it. That's it. When we get invited to a really fabulous party, we all immediately sort of have this sense or this idea of how we want to go dress. Right. And so we go out and we start looking for that outfit that feels the way we want to feel or the way we envision ourselves walking through that door. And you might go to 3 or 4 stores trying to put that look together. Right. And you might get in some fabulous stores and find 3 dresses, well, not dresses, but me, you know.
Don't tell nobody.
But 3 dresses that I love. And I'm going to take those dresses into the dressing room with me, and I'm going to try all 3 on. And the first 2 might look good on me. I might put them on and go, oh, that's nice. I like that. But then I put on one and I go, that's it. That's the way I want to go into this party. So which dress am I going to buy?
The last one.
I'm going to buy the last dress. Now, I like those other 2. I brought them into the room with me. If the 3rd dress hadn't shown up, one of those 2 would probably have gone to the, I probably would have kept looking, right? But I know that if I want to go to a different kind of party, these 2 dresses are here now, right? When we walk into an audition, there are a bunch of people getting ready to throw a very expensive party. And they are looking for the dress that's right for their party. It ain't personal. But they've spent a lot of money. They've invited a lot of people. And in their minds, they have an idea. I ain't mad at them for having an idea because you invite to your party who you want at
Absolutely,
your party.
right.
We need to give people the right to choose what feels right for their party. And us, we need to know that we are one of 3 fabulous dresses. And if you don't get to be the dress that goes to this party, this dress is so good. It's going to be right for a bunch of other parties. There's a whole bunch of jobs that I haven't gotten. And there's a whole bunch of jobs that I have. I ain't mad.
I ain't mad either. Well, thank you. This has been really good, really enlightening. Yeah, I dig it.
You feel better?
I feel better. Do you feel better?
What does that mean? What is that?
I want people to feel better after they've come in contact with me.
Yes. Well, I like that.
Do you feel better?
I feel better.
I feel better.
But I feel better every time that we work together.
Yeah.
I mean, you are funny. You are present. And what I mean by that is when we are having a conversation, we are having a conversation.
Absolutely.
And, a lot of people talk on the surface and are talking to you looking someplace else and actually being someplace else, but you're present. And you come with a mind and you come with kindness. So that's really a wonderful experience, and you can't help but walk away feeling better.
Thank you. Give me a hug. All right, y'all. Before she had me in here crying, we're going to wrap it up. But before we go, The Little Book of Big Lies by Tina Lifford and Truth That Sets You Free. Where can they get this book?
You can get it 2 places. You can go to Amazon and get the digital copy, and I think that we'll have the physical copy up there in a week. And you can go to my website, which is www.wakingupfabulous.com, just like it sounds. And if you go to the website, leave me your email, and I'll keep you posted on all what's going on with the Inner Fitness Project and check out some of my blogs and so on.
All right, cool, y'all. This is serious business, though. It's so important that we start to pay more attention to, as Tina would say, our inner fitness. Deal with those issues. Deal with those hurts and traumas, dramas, and upsets that we walk around with daily. Because we want to evolve. We want to be better people. That's the way that, as a society, we can change things. It starts with the individual healing yourself. So, as I like to say, as Muhammad Ali used to say, me, we. So if you do it as an individual and you change yourself, other people will see it and they'll be encouraged to change themselves. So that's the Brooklyn Report, and we will see you next time. Peace out.